Okay, Savannah, thank you in advance for answering some of these questions. I want to start off now that we have finished our work together. I want to start off by you just telling me what actually caused you to reach out to me and know that that was the time that you wanted to begin working on your health, and what made you reach out to me specifically?
Well, I've been following you on Instagram for a while, and I've always known that there's a different approach when it comes to um I guess medicine, but not I guess yeah, medicine without having to take medication. And um I I just felt like my anxieties were always taking over, and I woke up with anxiety. I fell asleep with anxiety. I didn't want to work out anymore. Also, being a fitness instructor, that doesn't work. Like I have to get up and I work out in the morning. Um, and so once I just lost my motivation, I I'm pretty sure my therapist also said like you should reach out to a psychologist and like maybe talk about anti-anxiety or antidepressants. And I was like, no, like if like I absolutely needed that, maybe, but I know that I know that that wasn't me. I know that I just didn't feel like myself. And I was like, that would have to be my absolute last resort because I know that's not me. I know I don't need it.
hmm Okay, so you came to me with a few goals. Like you told me this up front. Your goals were number one, to experience less anxiety and to not live in fear of getting your period because you were experiencing a lot of that premenstrual PMS type anxiety. And overall, you just wanted to feel stable throughout the month. So, where are you now that we've concluded our work together? Where are you with that goal?
Yeah, I feel like I don't have any sort of bloating even after like a big meal. I also thought bloating was normal and you should look like that like the week of your period or like the week prior of your period, and after every meal you have like it's totally normal to be super bloated. No, that's not the case. And yeah, during I was scared like the week prior to my period. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's coming. And I'm just going to be a total wreck and cry all the time. And now it's like I don't I don't have that fear, and I am not bloated at all ever. And during my period, the week leading up to it and the week after and during, I feel totally fine. I if a stressor comes, it just I'm like, oh, that's fine. We'll work through it. Everything will be fine.
Which is a big change because I remember in our initial consultation, that was one of the things we went through. I was like, okay, so when do you feel the most anxiety if you're relating it to your cycle? And you were like, the week before. Wait, but also the week of. And
And
then the
after.
week after. And I was like, oh, so 3 out of 4 weeks, you're feeling really heightened, very emotionally sensitive, and you were having bloating throughout the entire month, right?
Yes.
Yes. So that was your top four goals, was to get rid of the anxiety, improve the motivation, especially around fitness, but just generalized motivation, getting rid of the bloating, and getting rid of the PMS. So a lot of that was hormonally related, but of course we worked on that from the nervous system perspective. That allowed us to tackle all four of those goals all at once. So how do you feel like you're doing on the motivation piece at this point?
I feel great. I feel like I don't have to wake up with an alarm anymore, which I even whenever I didn't have to wake up super early, I always set an alarm, and now my body just kind of naturally wakes up around 5:30 or 6, and I don't feel like I want to keep laying down or I want to scroll on my phone. I just kind of want to get up and start my day and get going, which has been really nice because I would have to wake up with an alarm, and then I would lay down for like one more hour and doom scroll, and then started my day with anxiety.
Yes. So, okay, throughout our work together, we made a lot of shifts on the lifestyle side, the dietary side, the mindset, nervous system regulation tools. And now that you have all that, it's great you've achieved the goals, but like the specific things within your health, but how has that just affected your day-to-day life?
I think I was scared to start this because I thought it would be too much, or the diet, and I thought it would be something that I wouldn't be able to keep up with or maintain, but it was never something that like stopped. How do I say that? It was never something that I couldn't do. And I think that's why it took me so long to reach out, because I didn't want to commit to something that I didn't have time for. But it was never, I just added stuff into my already daily routine. And yeah, it was so easy to maintain. And now the maintenance after everything is over is even easier. It's nothing that you can't do.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the goal is if I'm doing my job as well as I can, we're using habituation or using dopamine hacking. We're actually making these things more of like lifestyle design versus you having to think about 100 million things you need to do to stay
Right.
healthy. So, okay, awesome. And then what would you say is like the biggest change that you've noticed throughout your work with me?
I think it's just you told me that anxiety, or like irrational thoughts, should just be like an air bubble. Like if you're sitting at the bottom of a pool and you blow out, it should just be an air bubble. It goes to the top, it goes away really fast. And I'm able to stop any irrational thought like right in its tracks. When before I would take a bad thought and then just run with it, and it would ruin my day, my next day, and then I would have to like ask everybody for validation because of something I made up in my head. When everybody has irrational thoughts, but it's how you bring yourself back down, and you don't run with them. You just, they're like, oh, that was dumb to think because it's not even true. Yeah.
Yeah, regulation. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like we gave your body the physiological capability to take these different tools that we then implemented around regulation. And my goal is with that, that you have like a toolbox you can rely on from our time together. So how do you feel like now that you're in the maintenance protocol, and you said it's easier than the actual correction protocol, but how are you feeling like thinking future wise about your health and maintaining that? Do you feel equipped for that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially because, again, like I said, I thought it was going to be super hard, and it really wasn't hard at all. And the maintenance going forward is even easier than that. It's nothing you can't just keep up with and maintain.
Yeah. So, on your intake forms, prior to our first consultation, I had you fill out a few questionnaires, and two questions I had for you were what was your motivation for starting this program? So, I want to read that to you, and then I want to read your definition that you had of healthy, and I want to see how that relates to where you are now. So, your motivation for beginning this process was to feel really good and confident in your skin and not have to rely on your friends as much to tell you that everything was okay all the time. And you mentioned this earlier, that external seeking of validation. Where are you at this point after we've worked together and you've achieved the goals? Now, where are you with that motivation for yourself?
I feel great about it. I even think at before all of this, before we started, I would have to ask my boyfriend all the time, like, do you still love me? Or like, and I would say it in a joking way, but like deep down I needed to hear it. And even he would bring it up to me like, why do you keep asking me that? It's like honestly kind of, it's like a lot. And then I thought, well, shouldn't you just give that to me because I need it, or because I'm asking? And then since the program, or like since I've finished, I feel so much less needy and a burden on like my friends and my boyfriend. and I don't feel like everybody's out to get me anymore. Again, irrational thoughts that have no merit, but they were there.
Yeah, we love regulation and balanced brain chemistry. That that really gives you a leg up whenever it comes to those like ruminating thoughts and the anxious thoughts and things like that. So your healthy definition was being able to just get up and go and not having to worry about traveling and packing a bunch of medications so you feel good throughout your day. And the next part of that was you wanted to make sure you weren't limited. Like that was something that you really thought embodied health was not feeling limited by your body and by your health.
Mhm. Yeah, um I never wanted to be like, because especially traveling a lot, I never wanted to have to pack all of my medications. And if I don't pack them, then the vacation is ruined for everybody because I'm just like a monster and couldn't be around or whatever. And that's what scared me when my therapist was like, you should speak to like a psychiatrist and like get on medication. I was like, no, because then I'm just relying on it for the rest of my life. And I know that that's not me. And then body wise, I knew that if I just stopped working out, and I know like how quickly your body can just start to shut down, and like you start to have back issues. So then you can't sit on a plane, or then you can't hike a mountain if you wanted to. I never wanted to be like, oh, like that activity sounds fun, but like I have to sit this one out because my hips hurt because I can't work out anymore.
Yeah. So where are you at those things now? Obviously, you don't have a bunch of medications. You do have some supplements for maintenance.
Yeah.
And then where are you at in terms of like that relationship with your body and feeling like you have the freedom to do what you want when you want?
Yeah, even when it comes to the supplements and packing them for a trip or something, even if like you forget them or you go like away for the weekend and you don't have them, it's comforting to know like you've done the work. So you're not just going to go all the way back to the beginning. Like your body can handle a couple of days off if you forget them, and it's not the end of the world. Like we've already done the hard part. And then when it comes to like me physically, I I don't want to hike a mountain, but I know that I can.
Yes, absolutely. So you've built such resilience that like you can do what you want when you want, and you don't actually need to be like perfect with a crazy protocol of doing a bunch of supplements and all that kind of stuff because you have done the work. Like you've built up the internal physiology and nervous system regulation to be able to handle really whatever you come in contact with. So my last question here for you is what would you say to someone like yourself before you started working with me? You've been aware of me, following me, but you're just not sure if this is the right program for you, or you're kind of just on the fence about it. What would you say to someone that was in that position and considering working with me?
I would say that it it's so worth it to invest in yourself. If you see a therapist, a psychiatrist, if you have a gym membership, you're already investing in yourself and you're spending money on yourself. And I don't think you could like really put a price tag on how good you feel when you work from the inside out. And it's so worth it. It's a lot easier than you think. It's nothing crazy, nothing you can't handle. I want my mom to do it so bad. And I tell her about it. And she's like, but Savannah, I can't eat sushi. And I'm like, yes, she prescribes you have to eat sushi every single day. Like it is nothing you don't want to eat. It's nothing you like. It's, it's not hard. It's just the greatest investment.
It's the intention, right? We're precise with the strategies, and I want to make sure you actually enjoy it and you're not overburdened by that. So, thank you so much for sharing this.